Well, China is imposing retaliatory tariffs against the U.S., and anxiety over those moves is showing up in the stock market. Futures are trending down again this morning. All major indexes closed in the red yesterday. The Dow dropped almost 4%, the Nasdaq was down almost 6%, and the S&P 500 dropped almost 5%. And President Trump defended his tariffs on Air Force One yesterday, blaming his predecessor for the state of the economy.
Well, I mean, it's to be expected. This is a patient that was very sick. We really inherited a terrible economy, as you know.
Well, we have team coverage for you this morning. Market Watch's Bill Watts is keeping an eye on the economic impact for us. But let's start off with Natalie Brand at the White House. Natalie, good morning. Now, before we get to the tariffs and the economy, the Trump administration fired the head of the NSA and U.S. Cyber Command. What do we know about this decision?
Yeah, General Timothy Hoff was the head of the NSA, National Security Agency, and U.S. Cyber Command. CBS News has learned that he was fired. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. And also top Democrats on the House and Senate intelligence committees who say that they are deeply concerned by this move. Congressman Jim Hines, the top Democrat on House Intelligence, says that General Hoff was an honest and forthright leader that put law and national security first. There's a lot of questions about why he was fired by the Trump administration. He was nominated by former President Biden back in 2023, and this is a Senate-confirmed position. But this also follows the Signal-Gate scandal that we were talking about all last week as the administration and intelligence agencies tried to get to the bottom of what happened there. Important to note, General Hoff was not on that group messaging chat that leaked public when a journalist, Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg, was mistakenly added to that chat. But he did testify on Capitol Hill last week that that app, Signal, does pose some security risks. Now, officials not revealing why he was fired. The NSA has not commented, neither has the White House officially or the Pentagon. But we do know that this follows some other firings. CBS News has learned at least 6 firings of staffers at the National Security Council. That is following a meeting in the Oval Office with right-wing personality Laura Loomer, who sources tell CBS News presented President Trump with some opposition research against some of those staffers. The president, meanwhile, saying that that is not the reason for these firings.
Now, Natalie, I want to talk about the tariffs now. Baseline tariffs are set to go into effect tomorrow, and what the White House calls reciprocal tariffs start on April 9th. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio just defended the tariffs moments ago at a news conference in Brussels. Here's what he said.
No, their economies are not crashing. The markets are reacting. No, their economies are not crashing. Their markets are reacting to a dramatic change in the global order in terms of trade. And so what happens is pretty straightforward. If you're a company and you make a bunch of your products in China, and all of a sudden shareholders or people that play the stock market realize that it's going to cost a lot more to produce in China, your stock is going to go down. But ultimately, the markets, as long as they know what the rules are going to be moving forward, and as long as that's set and you can sustain where you're going to be, the markets will adjust. Businesses around the world, including in trade and global trade, they just need to know what the rules are. Once they know what the rules are, they will adjust to those rules. So I don't think it's fair to say.
So, Natalie, after that brutal day on the stock market yesterday, how is the rest of the Trump administration defending this?
Yeah, well, all yesterday we saw top administration officials doubling down on the president's long-term tariff strategy, saying, that the stock market reaction is just a snapshot in time, that it was expected, that they are in this for the long term, and that longer term, the United States will be better off. They are also, again, really predicting what will be a manufacturing boom, even though some economists, say that may not be the case here. Now, what is interesting is some cabinet secretaries were hinting yesterday that the president could be open to negotiations before these reciprocal tariffs are set to take effect next week. The president himself was asked about that while traveling yesterday to Florida, and he said, sure, countries are calling him, and that if someone were to offer him something phenomenal, then yes, he would negotiate. He even used the example of China and TikTok. So a lot remains to be seen about what happens in the days ahead, again, as the administration really defends its tariff strategy.
All right, Natalie Brand at the White House, thanks for joining us.